Okay, everybody, here we are. It is Wednesday, April 27, 2022. Here's the story. As you are all aware, we are on watch for S&P 500 4150, which is the recent low. All right. Are we going to break through that level? Are we going to bounce off of it? That's the real question here. Let's put this together. So this morning, stock futures are higher. Lovely. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, if things don't change from now to when stock trading starts in about 35 minutes from right now, we will bounce at the open. But there's a few flies in the ointment here. We still have what appears to me as a safety trade going on pre-market. What does that mean? Dollar is markedly stronger this morning. The relative strength of the dollar. Now that should not be a surprise to any of you out here. We have discussed right here that the relative strength of the dollar would stay high. Okay, relative compared to other currencies. Its absolute value continues to nose dive at a feverish pace. All right, so with that said, we get the stronger dollar this morning. We got the 10-year yield 2.76. Okay. So that is a safety trade in my view. We'll see if it turns out to be a fair trade. If we break below 4150 on the S&P 500, and like I said, we're going to address this. Looks to me like a retest of the recent low is in play. All right, we'll see how that plays out. What else is going on today, people? Crude oil, about $102 a barrel. Market loves that, but of course the market wants it a lot higher. You got cryptocurrencies catching a bid, about 39,000 for Bitcoin. Gold relatively flat. You got silver, I would say slightly higher. All right. Now with that said, let's touch on some economic news. I'm laughing. I hate laughing at this stuff. All right, so the U.S. trade deficit just hit another record high in March. People, you and I clearly understand that debts and deficits are going to continue to balloon beyond people's wildest imaginations. Part of the mechanism here, it's just the way it's going to go. There's no end in sight, period. Now, we also found this out. Week over week, sit down, mortgage applications cratered over 8%. This is that mechanism, people, that you and I have known was going to come for a very long time, and that is the entire middle class is being wiped out. They can't afford to buy anything. They're borrowing beyond their eyeballs. They're turning into rent slaves in perpetuity. No end in sight. Forget about owning a damn thing. You will own nothing and be happy about it. That's the current situation. And I really don't see an end to it. I don't see it in the current environment with, in fact, debts and deficits hyper ballooning here, with inflation out of control, real wages cratering, an economy. You know, it's laughable to me to listen to the mainstream propaganda ministries push their bullshit that we're so strong and we're booming. It's propaganda. We're in a war here, an actual war, a shooting war. It's clear to me, it should be to you too. Look, we are financing this war over there in the Ukraine. We're sending tens of billions of dollars over there in weapons and everything else. It's a proxy war with Russia. It's expanding. There's no end in sight, and it will be prolonged. You know the mechanism here. Every crisis, this crisis to crisis to crisis thing is just not going to stop. And look, what else do they have in store for us? Who freaking knows? But it's going to be something else, and it's going to be something bigger. I believe, look, what's happening right now is something we would have expected. We have nations around the world arming themselves to the teeth. Military budgets ballooning here in the United States and around the world. It looks to me like they are clearly pushing us towards a new global conflict And we're going to, look, I don't think that should surprise anybody here. And I've told you, this is a mechanism here to keep the debt-based economic model going. They will kill millions. I've told you this already. They already have, just to establish the fiat monetary system and the petrodollar. And they will continue to slaughter millions and tens of millions of people to keep the debt-based economic model going. It's astonishing to me because I talk to people every day. They have no idea that we have a debt-based system that demands that debt be pulled from the future in greater and greater amounts every single day. It can't stop. We don't have a wealth-based system, which is what our forefathers envisioned. A wealth-based system would have restrained war. And that was I believe it was a big reason why our forefathers wanted a wealth-based system, a gold-backed system. Once we went off of that, it allowed, central banks to kind of get their stranglehold on the world, which has allowed these criminal institutions, all of them, to enslave the world. And that's exactly what they have been doing, what they will continue to do. Henceforth, why debts and deficits will continue to balloon, while inflation will continue to skyrocket here. You know that. We're literally watching things unfold that you and I have spoken about right here on this blog from many, many years ago. A new set of rules I told you was coming, a new paradigm, this demographic shift, this two-tier society that is evolving very, very rapidly before our eyes. It's a crazy situation here, people. It really is. All right, so look, in summary, you and I did a whole special report video on this yesterday. We need to keep our eyes on S&P 500 4150. If we break below that, people, we will readdress it. If we bounce off here, look, retests in the market, for those of you that don't know, are normal. It's normal for a market to establish a floor, go higher, reverse, retest that floor, and hopefully we will bounce higher here. Okay, if we don't, we're still okay. We are in risk-off assets as well. Risk-on equities, risk-off physical assets, which include gold, obviously silver, and in my view, cryptocurrencies as well. You all know that. You know my thinking on this entire thing. All right, so with that said, I think we got it covered. And that's what we're going to do. All right, people, that's it. You will see me later at the end of the day. And it's a freak show. I think we all know that. But it's kind of interesting, in my view, to watch unfold. And whatever happens, we're in this together. And I just love that. I really do. I will see all of you later. Please comment. Please share the video. I'm out of here.